Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very latest Cabs podcast. I'm joined here by three lovely gents who are going to be talking Tottenham Hotspur, Ipswich, and all the things that go along with it tonight. Let's go quickly. We'll go around the room and say hello. Austin, say hello to everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see
All right.
everyone.
Moving on swiftly, we're going to go to Ash. How you doing, Ash?
I'm doing great. We got after the fires and mudslides, we've actually got summer here right now.
Sunshine. Who could have thought that was possible in LA? And John, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm on holiday, hence the slightly different nature of the podcast tonight. We will be sorting this all out later. It will look fine in the edit, is what I'm told the professionals say. But let's move on. 3 wins in a row, 9 points out of nine. Djed Spence continuing to look excellent. Anybody got any complaints?
None
Well,
whatsoever.
it wasn't a perfect performance. But you can see, the fact that we've had this gap between matches and the players are coming back. It has made a difference. And it has made all these people that have slated Tottenham. Anybody would have had the problems that we've had with the injuries and long-term injuries that we've had. But you can see, hopefully, it's all going to come right just in time for the Europa League.
Yeah, let's hope so. So that's around March the 6th, I think.
March
So we've got a little bit of time for that.
Right, we have 8 days off after this. I'm a little concerned about something. Yesterday we literally only had one fit centre back, and no young guys on the bench to play centre back. With Ben out, and I'm going, oh no, did he come back too early? Has he done?
Hang on, stop the clock. We got to talk about Ben within 2.5 minutes of starting. Yeah.
Well,
Carry on.
He was out, and then we had Danso, who's terrific, a great buy, initially terrific, and then we got Archie, who's not a centre back, and I'm almost thinking those other two. Why are we waiting on those two guys? I don't even care if they're ready, because we're waiting for them to play against Liverpool. They're not ready. Waiting for them to play in the Europa. Then who knows if they'll be ready? Quite frankly, if we get Ben healthy, we have 3 guys to play centre back and maybe Djed Spence in a push. But that everywhere else we seem to be, sort of covered except for centre back. It's kind of not good, and I'm really kind of. I don't know who I can be mad at. Those guys coming back too early, the medical team, those Cootie not caring, maybe not putting as much effort. I don't know, but it's disconcerting to be left as exposed with one fit true centre back as we were yesterday.
So the news as I've heard it recently, Cootie Romero had a scan recently. The last scan showed that everything seems to be fine. Now it's just a case of getting him up to speed in terms of fitness. Mickey van der Ven is not injured. They're just trying to retrain him how to run in a way that's less likely to put strain on his hamstring. So they're redoing his biomechanics. I don't know how that works, but I'm told it's a thing. If push comes to shove, I suspect one of them would be played. Mickey is the likely one, I suspect. John, you're going to say?
I don't know. Look, it can't be helped if what's happened to Dragusin. He's out and he's injured. That's one of those things. I suspect in the case of Romero, with the international break coming up at the end of March, miraculously he'll be fit for that.
Yeah. Get to be quite honest, get shot of him after the season, and if Real Madrid want to spend 80 on him, go ahead. And we've got Danso, who looks like a good guy to bring in.
And we've got Vukovic coming in at the end of the season.
Scored another goal, didn't he?
Scored another goal. Vuskovic is the second highest goal scorer for Westerlo this season. He's 17 and a centre back. That's crazy. That's just crazy.
Actually, it was nice to hear. Amongst the negative singing that was at Portman Road yesterday, but it seems that the Spurs faithful have taken to Danso, and they were singing quite a lot about him yesterday. So that was good to see. He seems a bit of a character. There was one bit where he ushered the ball out for a goal kick, and he like fist pumped when he did it and stuff like that. That's all good in my eyes.
He looks proper. He looks like a real sort of combative, capable player, and he looks to have taken Spurs on board as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
I thought he looked good. There was a few moments where things were a little bit iffy with him, but generally he looked in control. I definitely preferred him being matched up against Liam Delap than when it was Archie Gray being matched up against Liam Delap, because that was not a fair fight. It did not look good at all.
I thought Archie Gray improved though as the game went on. I thought for the first 15 minutes, yes, you were right, but after that, I thought Archie Gray was absolutely superb.
And and they didn't switch positions, Stu. No, and Delap stayed on that side, so they didn't switch positions. And
I thought that we saw a lot more matchups with Danso and Delap than later as the game went on than we saw with Gray and Delap.
No, but I think Oz is right. After the first 10, 15 minutes, he adapted to it, and I thought he did quite well. I do like Delap. By the way, Anne said something interesting, which speaks about the centre-back quandary that we have, is that somebody asked, well, why did you switch, Archie to the right and Danso to the left? He said, well, Archie's right-footed and makes sense, and he did send that great crossfield pass over to Son for the first goal. But secondly, which was more perhaps ominous, or maybe not, he said wanted to have Kevin practice working at the left back, at the left position, because we're going to need him for the run-in. And I'm going, what does that mean? Like Ben's not there, or Van de Ven maybe not coming back. So he's covering his ass, which is a good thing.
Yeah, he did play left in France, left side centre back in France. So occasionally, not all the time, but he also played in a back three. So it's a little bit different. Does anybody know what happened to Ben? I was surprised he wasn't in the team. And I'm on holiday, so I'm not fully up to speed.
Funny enough, I haven't read up on it. I haven't looked at any. I think Ange did talk about it in his press conference, but I must admit I didn't listen to or read it, so I don't know what the situation is. Anybody, any of the wiser?
No, he did say after the game he had a knock, and that was it. Because he's not going to tell everything.
No, he shouldn't. But there were knocks from the previous game on Danso, Sonny, and one of Bergvall, I think. Who I think we've already talked about Danso. I definitely think we need to talk about Sonny. And if we finish this podcast without raining praise on Lucas Bergvall today, I'm going to be spitting feathers. I tell you, he was so good. But let's talk Sonny. Sonny, I thought, was closer to the Sonny that we like to see. He was ranging with the ball. He was getting involved, made 2 goals. So he's now got 10 goals and 10 assists this season for us. And that he's done that 9 seasons on the row. That is incredible service from such a player. And I think it just goes to show how good he can be when he gets a bit of a rest and we're not asking him to play 2 games a week.
Also, when he gets the ball played in front of him so he can run onto it, which is where he excels.
Yeah, but Stu is right. The fact he's not playing, he can't play 2 games a week anymore. He can't. It's just not going to happen. And that's great. I think this works out much better for us. Now we hopefully got some options now. And he did look very lively.
Well, I thought he, in the latter part of the Man United game last week, he started to come alive, and he certainly was in the first half against Ipswich yesterday. I think he tired a little bit. That's why he was taken off in the second half. But
what have you got in your hand, John?
I know it's a cat's tail. For a second,
I said,
John, what is John moving around there? And I went, it's a cat's tail.
It's my cat, Honey.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Honey.
Say hello, Honey.
Oh, there he is.
Lovely.
She.
Calico, right?
Yeah.
They call them calicos, yeah. Anyway, so good to see Sonny doing that, and also good to see some other options. Crikey. Actually, even what's his name? Johnson. He'd been off for almost 2 months, looking lively. doing what he basically does, which is get into position to score.
Yeah, Johnson came in and just did really well, I thought. I mean, again, it's one of those games which is kind of typical Johnson. He doesn't do much apart from score 2 goals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People said that about Greaves.
Yeah.
No, but he's not in the side really. Look, his goals have been very useful this season. There's no two ways about it. But yes, exactly. But really, what you want to see him do, he's got the pace. You want him to see take people on and get inside and challenge people getting into the box. And at times, I think he doesn't. Well, not at times. He doesn't do that enough. But I mean, I'm not one of these people who. And there's a lot of Spurs fans who are absolutely slating. I'm definitely not one of those. But there is more to come, I believe, from Johnson. But his goals have definitely been a bonus this season. There's no two ways about it.
He's actually our top scorer with 14.
Yeah, no. Considering how long he's been out injured, that's incredible.
It is. Yeah. And quite frankly, I don't know if he's the type of guy to beat a man. Didn't we have this discussion on CADS previously? He seems to be the type of guy that likes to have the ball put over so he can run into space, not necessarily a guy who will try and beat a man like Odebear will probably do, or Mikey Moore. So it might well be, John, that he can't do what that thing with perhaps thinking, he can do. That might. I
mean, Andrew's going on about Odebear yesterday after the match. What the bit I did hear, and he was suggesting that he's different from the rest of the players, and he will offer something different, and not necessarily this season, but maybe next season you will see a lot more from him and what he can offer the team.
Good.
Yeah, the thing with Johnson, I mean, we've talked about it before on here, and we've seen it happen. If he's given the ball and expected to turn and then take someone on, he's going to lose the ball. He's not that kind of player. But if you play the ball for him to run onto, if you play the ball with some pace, then he actually excels at that. We've seen it at times this season. We saw it at times last season. But we just seem to keep pressing the reset button and going back to, let's play the ball to his feet so he can turn and beat the guy. It doesn't work. When he's on form, when he's being given the ball to run onto, he's a completely different player and he looks fantastic. It just, maybe he doesn't fit the exact mold of what Ange wants. Maybe he wants someone who could take the ball and turn, like Odebear clearly can. Odebear came on and did well.
Yeah. And Mikey takes on players like that. So we do have a couple of players who can actually do that.
Mikey's not got the same kind of pace that Johnson or Odebear have, though. So he has to be tricky. Austin, you were going to jump in there.
I was just going to say, the thing I like about Johnson, and we can't take it away, is he finishes beautifully. He's clinical. He gets there. And not everyone can do that. I mean, if you look at Timo Werner, he's been in the same position as Johnson and hasn't managed to finish, and he's an international player. I think we've got to look at Johnson and say he's very good at doing that and not complain about what he can't do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Certainly, it's difficult to complain about him when he's scoring goals for us and effectively match-winning goals. If we hadn't scored any other goals yesterday, we'd have won that game because of the goals that he scored. So very, very happy with him. Okay, talk Sonny, talk Johnson. Let's do it. Let's talk Lucas Bergvall. That boy yesterday was something special. I thought there was shades of Gaza the way he was running past players, just wrong footing people, little jink here and there, and just running away with the ball. It was really special to watch. I thought.
He's going from strength to strength, and when he first, he had this reputation, and we was all looking forward to him when we signed him last January. And then when he started, it was a bit of not a letdown, but he didn't seem physically up to it really. But you can see, given a time to adjust to the league, and I hope this happens with the guy up front, Tao. I hope. And hopefully the same thing will happen with him, But you can see now he's got up to speed with the league now, Bergvall, and he's excellent, really, really excellent. And to me, he should be the number one pick in our midfield now.
I think you could be right there, John. My only thing, and I did put it on, I might have said it to you, Oz, or maybe John Ogilvie, is that, and I'm waiting for it. It may not happen this year because the highlights I'd seen previously, the guy can actually score some scrumptious goals. So at some point, I don't know if it's a matter of confidence or the team adapting to him. If he's able to do what he was doing before and add to what he's already doing now and score some goals like Gaza would do, he's going to be terrific, absolutely terrific. And I think you're totally right, John, that he may actually be the first guy to put on the list for starting midfielder.
I want to see him playing with Archie Gray in midfield, because I think those two will absolutely run midfield for us over the next few years.
But it's not going to happen this year with the centre back problem we have.
No, it won't. But I mean, Archie Gray is 18, Bergvall's 19, just turned. You know, they're going to be with us for 10 years or more, and they're going to dominate our midfield, the pair of them, because they're both absolutely fabulous.
Okay, this is where I put a dampener on things. Are they going to? Well, is he going to be with us for 10 years or more? Because I was looking at him yesterday, and I was thinking, how long are we going to be able to keep hold of this kid? Because playing like that, you're going to have big clubs coming in for him and saying, right, well, we can put him in, you know, in the Real Madrid midfield, in the Barcelona midfield. There will be no problem. He will work.
Well, Barcelona obviously were interested in him, and so you know, well, look, what can you do? There's links with Van der Ven now, isn't it? I think apparently Liverpool are after him and all that rubbish and stuff like that. What can you do about it? You know, unfortunately,
you're right. Can't do anything. Yeah, right, John. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just a lot of it is press speculation. They've got to find some column inches. They've got to find stuff to fill those column inches, and it's just some of it is just really frustrating to watch. Hopefully, we're going to lock these players down to better and longer contracts, because, you know, a lot of people are complaining, oh, they're just on this small amount of money per week. Yeah, but they're 18, 19 years old. As they improve, they're going to get better contracts with better terms and longer. And that's the way things start. That's the way things go when you're at the start of a project. If we were 3 years into this project, we'd be spending more on wages and they'd be having more money. But the reality is they've just been bought. They've just been brought in. And suddenly we're starting to build something. And I really think you can start to see it now.
To play devil's advocate, is there anything about Bergvall, about his game that any of us can criticize, or that
he's got attitude? He'll pick up a lot of bookings.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you said about he not, you know, when he was playing for whoever he was playing for before, he scored some nice goals and stuff like that. And of course, so far he's only scored the one goal for us, but I'm sure that will come. That will come. I've seen him. You know, he shoot. I mean, he was through his shot last week against Man United that we scored. Madison followed up and scored, and he had a decent shot yesterday, if I remember rightly. So I think I'm sure that will come. I mean, that's not a criticism of him, but it's just something that as he gets more experience and more confidence in himself, that will come. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yes. Now he's going to be quite some player, and as you said, Oz, we're probably not going to find out this season what he's probably not going to play there this season. What Gray can do in the midfield, unfortunately.
Well, we might see him, because if either Van der Ven or Romero come back, then that releases Gray, and I think he could be playing in midfield. And I think we haven't even scratched the surface of what Gray can do. I just look at him and I think you are so accomplished. He actually reminds me of Beckenbauer, and that's playing at the back. But I think when he's playing in midfield, he's going to be absolutely fabulous.
Well, we have seen him in midfield for a short amount of time. I think it was against Newcastle.
Yeah, it was.
He was all right. It was a difficult game to play, and obviously, again, more injuries, and we had to move him back eventually. But he did seem to have those little feints and moves that create space for him. He had space and time on the ball, which is what I love to see from a midfielder. If you look towards the future, we've got Odegaard, who's 19, 20.
Yeah.
Mikey Moore, who's still 17.
Yeah.
How old's Brennan Johnson? 23.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still very, very young.
Jamie Donnelly.
Bergvall, Jamie Donnelly. Jamie Donnelly's 19. Bergvall's 19. Archie Gray's 18. I mean, this Kinski's 21. We're going to have, Vuskovic next season, who's currently 20, currently 17, but he's turning 18 any day now.
Dane
You've got Phillips as well, haven't you? That's Stoke.
Is it Stoke? He's 19. I mean, we've got so many good young players coming through. And apparently, they're talking up Dorrington, who are in the club. I'm waiting now for Austin to jump in and say something about him because I know Austin's not a fan. But
we've got Ashley Phillips as well.
You're not a fan? Yeah, we've said about Ashley Phillips. Yeah.
Why is that then, Austin?
I've seen Dorrington play a few times and I don't rate him, but and I've made that known on other podcasts. You weren't on the one that I really was rude about him.
Something about going away to Aberdeen and not bothering to come back, I think, but in slightly more industrial language.
I may have used bad language, Stuart. Yes, I may have done. It's unusual for me, but yes, possibly.
Oh dear. Okay, so
this other kid. Who's this other kid with a very funny name? Irish. He's about 17 or 18.
Oh, Melia.
Melia.
Yeah, we're not going to see him until next January.
No, but
he's that young.
Absolutely looks the business.
I don't know. I've seen videos. All I can judge him is on videos. Never seen him play a game live.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I go, there's some stuff there. He holds the ball up quite well, but a lot of it, he looks like a National League player. And you're like, okay, he's got a lot of maturing to do. He's playing at a fairly low level. Let's be honest, the League of Ireland is not the top level, but he's also been playing that since he was about 15 years old. So he's got to be good. Apparently, something like 30 clubs were in for him, and he decided to come to us. Thank you very much. Let's hope he's the coming of the next Messiah. That's what we need.
The other Irishman we had, we're going to be playing his team in the next Europa.
Yeah. Troy Parrott, we're playing them Alkmaar away on Thursday, the 6th of March. Let's hope that one goes well.
We
should be there.
What do you look think of our potential route to the final? I mean, obviously we got AZ. Then it's either Frankfurt or Ajax, and then probably Lazio in the semi-final. So they're all interesting matches now. I mean, there's no gimmies. I mean, I'm of the opinion that as long as we've got a fit squad and you can change things around, then we can definitely do some damage in this competition now. But it's not a gimme. And there are teams. I mean, Lazio are doing very well in the Serie A at the moment, and that certainly won't be easy if we play them. And you can never underestimate an Ajax team and Frankfurt, who won the Europa League about 2 or 3 years ago, didn't they? So,
I'd rather be on this side of the draw than in Manchester United's side of the draw. They've definitely got a harder draw.
Agree, good. But it won't be easy. But provided we can play out to our potential, then I think we are the team that let the other teams worry about us. And also, if we, it's so important if we can nail this competition this season. All these youngsters it will just give them that confidence and give them the belief that the club is actually capable of actually competing. And so it's so important that we can try and win this competition. And and unlike other competitions that we've been involved in over the last few years, when it came to the latter part of this competition, and we've had to play a Liverpool or a Man City or Chelsea or whoever, we was always the underdog. Whereas I don't think this competition we have to feel that, and so hopefully, we can actually go out with confidence. I hope.
And then there's the added benefit, what you just said, John, that the young players getting all that experience and confidence is that they'd be playing, if we win it, in the Champions League next year, which is an incredible thing. By the way, in the League Cup, the only team that beat us was the best team in Europe, probably Liverpool, quite frankly. And we actually did quite well against those other, both Mancs, that we played and came up against the best team, Liverpool, and actually beat them the one game. So, you know, in the cup things, we've actually done pretty good this year. Against Villa, I think we hit the wall. There was just nobody there. We just got to hit the wall, you know?
Yeah, it was depressing the amount of effort that was put in, but at the same time, understandable considering the amount of running the players have had to do this season. Ange says he always wins things in the second season. I very, very much hope that comes true because I'd love to see us win another trophy, certainly a European trophy. It'd be my first European trophy as a Spurs fan. I'll be very, very happy to see that.
I hate to say it, be my fourth.
Yeah, all right.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So obviously
we haven't
got
mentioned the fullbacks yet. We were talking about young players, but we haven't mentioned Udogie, and we haven't mentioned Djed Spence, who's only 24.
Let's talk about Udogie very quickly. I thought we were saying Udogie of the beginning of last season. He was raiding down that left side, joining up well. I think he freed up Sonny to do what we like Sonny to do, and he gave us some very nice balance. Obviously, still not fully fit, which is why he came off. And when he came off, probably my favourite player of this season stepped up. Djed Spence is something special this year. I don't know what it is, but something has clicked with that young man. And he is loving life, I'm absolutely sure. He was superb.
Did you read that article I posted on CADS a couple of days ago that was talking about him? And apparently he's quite shy and retiring. And it comes over that he has attitude, but it actually isn't. He's just reserved.
He was interviewed after the game, Oz. And
I heard it. I watched the interview.
He couldn't really express it. You could tell he's shy. You could tell he's shy because he's not like Madison, who's actually media savvy and whatever. But it was great. I think it was a Spurs interview. Do it. Bring him out of himself because on the field, he's fabulous. He really is.
He's so powerful when he runs. I mean, he's got oomph when he goes at people. And he turns people in a way that you don't see very often. He's got to be England's fullback in the not too distant future because I think he's the best fullback we've got.
He might be our best fullback or our best fullback right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think currently he's our best left back and our best right back. So we need to somehow split him in two and have him on the same.
Clone him, yeah.
Clone him, absolutely. But I think there can only be one Djed Spence though. He's just so good. And
I don't know if you're aware. I mean, you're probably not, but he on a downside on Djed Spence, and I like him. But unfortunately, he did post something on his social media site that maybe didn't go down too well with some people. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. And
I do remember there was some controversy about something he posted. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but yeah.
So hopefully
again, young man. He is a young man who's going to make mistakes. Certainly when it comes to social media and things like that, he won't be the last one to do that.
No.
But I suspect someone's had a word with him and said probably not a good idea to post stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Cuti Romero has made a couple of social media mistakes himself this season, and he's significantly older and more experienced player. Yeah.
What about he didn't have much to do, but isn't it great to have Vicario back?
Yes. Well, funny enough, he's one of those players. I didn't think how much we missed him until he was all over, until he got back into the team, and then you realise actually he's not perfect, but he's definitely the best goalkeeper we've got at the club by a distance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when Kinski came in and people said, "Oh, he's on you number one," I was like, "He's not." And I remember speaking about it on here, and I say that he's a good, promising young goalkeeper, but frankly, Vicario is at a different level. Vicario is the kind of player who settles things at the back and makes you feel better, and probably unless it's a corner. But then that's also been over talked about this season. We've conceded very few goals. I think we conceded 2 goals from corners all season. One of those
which is
against
amazing,
Arsenal.
really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I said it last week. Ali Gold was saying what John was saying. You miss him, but don't realize until he's actually back. Ali Gold was saying, and maybe you heard it, John. Apparently, he's just like a motor mouth and a loud mouth on the field, constantly speaking. And I'm going, that's great. That's fantastic.
No, that's right. And you need that kind of person, don't you? You know, to bark out to the defense and stuff like that. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So great to see. He didn't have to he made a couple of early saves, and after that, I don't think he really had to do too much, you know.
Yeah,
he was definitely needed early on because we were under the cost
in the first
few minutes.
In the first 5 minutes. We could have been 3-1 down, if truth be known, right? And then after that, really, I know they scored their goal, and they had the goal that was rightly disallowed. It wasn't, you know, there was no question it was offside. Really, I can't think of Vicario doing too much, to be honest. Really.
By the way, you know their manager's an ex-Spurs player, right?
Yeah.
Ex-Spurs player, ex-under-18s manager, and ex-under-21s manager.
Yeah. He might be a future manager for us, actually, depending how long Ange stays with us.
He had a long conversation with Dane Scarlett at the end of the game. I don't know whether anyone saw that.
He did, probably because Dane Scarlett was on loan there last season and he didn't play him.
Is that right?
Yeah, he did not play Dane Scarlett.
I was impressed with Scarlett. He won that header to win Decky the ball for Decky's goal. And he was under quite a bit of pressure, and he really sort of held his space. And I don't know whether you noticed, but he was actually on the edge of the box when Decky scored, because he'd sort of won the header, then he'd made up all the ground at pace to actually get into the box to be there. I was quite impressed with Scarlett on.
I think you get a different view if when you're live at the match as to what you see on television. And my view on Scarlett was a great deft header for the setup for Kulusevski for his goal. But I don't think he affected the game too much, Scarlett, when the time that he was on. And the other thing, I don't know if I was right or wrong in this, but the thing that I did notice is I thought he lacked a bit of pace, which is always handy for somebody up front, isn't it? It was handy.
He is quite a quick player, I believe. I mean,
is he? It didn't show yesterday anyway, but you know.
I think the interesting thing with Scarlett is that there are certain players that do not look good at lower levels, but when they play at Premier League level, when they've got everything just comes together. They're technical players, they're good players. I think if they drop down a little bit, that technicality kind of gets lost. And you move up to a level of where you're actually playing first team Premier League football, and you go, suddenly there really is a player there. He was excellent in the youth. He scored loads and loads of goals. But when we sent him out on loan, he really struggled. But then
I agree with that. I mean, that's not just at Tottenham, but there's a lot of young players who, particularly now, are not really given the chance that they were in years gone by. I mean, and Parrott is probably a good case. Never really given a chance in the Tottenham team. And you know, when you compare him to say something like Kane, again, who didn't, you know, if you ask most of the managers who had him when he was on loan, they wouldn't have said he was going to turn out into the player he was. But once he came into the team, the Tottenham team, he then showed what he was really worth. You know, so you know, who knows? It's a very slim line between, you know, where your career go up or nosedive. You know, and you know, everybody said with Parrott what a player he was, and it's never materialised, has it?
He's having a good season in Holland.
Yeah. Did we speak about Tel?
We haven't spoken about Tel, but I think this is probably a good opportunity to segue over to him. What did everybody think of Tel? I thought he did a lot of hard running.
It's hard to tell.
Hard to tell. He did a lot of hard running, but didn't seem to win the ball very often. He lost loads of challenges. You look at the stats, they're not good. Failed to win all but one of his challenges. Lost the ball on a number of occasions. But he did work hard, I felt.
I say with Tel, read Bergvall. Bergvall came into the team.
Yeah.
He had to get used to the physicality of the league and stuff like that. And I think that's the same. You know, Tel hasn't played that much football for PSG this season. Not PSG, Bayern Munich this season. Yeah. And it will take him a while. I've seen little bits of him, and he's just got to learn, again, and not try so hard, to play when he's got the chance to play the ball earlier than he does and stuff like that. But I think there is a player there. There is a player there.
He's also playing in the wrong position because he played wider for Bayern Munich and came in from the side rather than playing through the middle. And
yeah, that is his favourite position.
Struggling doing that.
Well, where do we think it's only 2 games from now? Where do we think can he contribute in the Europa games, or do we bring in Scarlett or Solanke won't be back? What do we do with that position for the Europa?
I think Solanke's not that far away.
He's not that far.
Whether he'll be back for the first leg, I'm not sure, but I think he's not that far away. Hopefully.
But okay, so what do we do with the first game?
Tell. I think I'd rather play Tell, who's got a bit more experience at a high level than Scarlett. Again, I think Scarlett's a good player. I don't think he's first choice Premier League level.
Yes,
certainly not now.
That's fair to say. Yeah.
For me, I'd be playing Tell in that one, and then looking to bring Solanke back for the second leg at home.
Also, playing in Europe might suit Tell and his game at the moment better than it does playing in the hurly burly of the Premier League as well.
It's a good point.
I think we'll see the best of Tell when he's playing alongside Solanke, because I think Solanke will do the brunt of the physical work, and Tell will be able to feed off chances, which I think is probably more his game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Off the left wing, Oz, you feel?
I would use him as an alternative to Son. We've got Odebear as well now. He's back. But,
and Mikey Moore. See, that's the thing. We're starting to have options over on that left-hand side. Yeah. Odebear, Tell, Son, Mikey Moore. And for me, I think I'm a huge Mikey Moore fan. Mikey Moore for me is the future of that left-hand side. Odebear can play right. Tell also can play right. But I think unless he's playing up front, I don't see the point in signing Tell after this summer. And maybe it'll be his choice to decide that he won't stay with us. But, it will be an interesting decision that gets made later on.
Mikey hasn't started any games recently now that we've got some players back.
That's going to be his problem, unfortunately. And that's what I was saying before about young players not being given a chance. Because of the situation we're in, they've had to play some of the youngsters. And I really do hope that we do give a chance to our youngsters. But I think as more and more of our players come back, it's going to become harder. I mean, Mikey Moore definitely is going to be fighting to get minutes onto the pitch now.
To get minutes. Yeah,
which is a shame.
It is a shame.
Well, it depends on how he shows in training, because if he shows he's good enough in training, they'll give him the time and they'll play him ahead of other people.
Yeah, but the last few games since he hasn't been playing.
Well, he was injured for quite a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, physically he's not grown yet, has he? I mean, he's big for a 17-year-old lad, but he's not as big as other Premier League footballers. If you put him next to Tell, for instance, who's just a couple of years older, Tell is taller, Tell has got that wiry strength to him. Mikey Moore doesn't have that yet. I think, personally, once he turns 18, I think we'll see Mikey Moore go out on loan for a season or so, and maybe Donnelly, maybe he'll go to Leyton Orient with him. They'll be playing in the Championship for the Leyton Orient next year, and just ripping the entire Championship up. That would be great. And then come back and show what they can do at Spurs, because we're going to have options. We're going to have 3 options, even if Mikey Moore goes, because we've got another year of Sonny, unless, of course, this fabled Manchester United bid for £42 million comes in. That ain't true. That's not happening. Sonny will still be around. Sonny will get minutes.
A bid for who?
Sonny. Apparently, Man United are in for Sonny.
Really? I've not seen that one.
Whatever. Paper talk. It's rubbish. It's not going to happen. I mean, Manchester United are going through this thing where they're sacking everybody. They're sacking like over half of their scouting team. It's nuts what's going on there. I'm just so glad that we have not been involved with that particular guy, Jim Rackett.
Listen, I love Sonny. I mean, and his record stands. He is a legend at Tottenham. You know, without doubt, he's the best Asian player by a distance ever to play in Europe. But, you know, if he was to leave us at the end of the season, I wouldn't particularly cry about it now. I think, you know, maybe the time is coming up to, you know, bring other players in now, you know.
It depends where he goes. I was thinking about this the other day. If he was to go to another club in the Premier League, I wouldn't be happy. If he was to go anywhere else, I'd be fine with it. It was like, okay, he's earned the right to set his own future and choose what he wants to do. So for me, if Sonny goes to Serie A, if Sonny goes to France, if Sonny goes back to Korea and sets up his own stuff there, good luck. Go have a great time. But not another club in the Premier League, please.
I don't think there's any way he'd sign for another club in the Premiership, to be quite honest. He's been with us for 10 years. He's Spurs through and through. I don't think he'd want to go to another Premiership club.
Yeah, agreed. All right, how are we feeling about the Man City game? We got Man City on Wednesday. So once again, we're getting back to just a short break between games. But Man City on Wednesday, we kind of have a little bit of the hoodoo over them, don't we?
I'm feeling quite confident about it. Certainly watching them today, I wasn't really impressed with them. So I'm actually quite confident about the City game.
Yeah, they're a shadow. They're a shadow of what Man City has all been about under Pep. And they were very flat today. And, you know, what are they really playing for now? I mean, they're actually playing to try and stay in the Champions League places. I mean, that's what they're playing for, and the FA Cup. But they were very flat, and I hopefully now on the back of 3 straight wins in the league, although we have had 2 defeats in the cup in between all that, but with the 3 straight wins, hopefully we'll have the confidence to inflict more pain on City. The shame is, even if we win, I want to say, but even if we win on Wednesday, because we're 4 points behind Brentford, we still can't go above 12th place at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we win, we will only be 4 points from guaranteeing our place in the Premier League next season, which is still something I keep looking at every single week.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be the second season. I don't think this has ever happened. There's going to be 2 seasons in a row where the 3 teams that came up are going to be the 3 teams that are going to go down again. Mm-hmm. I can't see any difference. Yeah.
I also quite like the fact that even if we don't go above Brentford, which we obviously can't, we could win a 4th game and we'll still be under the radar. People will still talk about us being mid-table. And I think we could come up with a late run and end up in the European places, albeit the lower ones, which I would quite like to do.
I just think it's...
Go on, John.
I just say, to me, the Premier League now, for us, is about momentum and confidence and getting players fit and getting the younger players a bit more experience. The real focus now is the Europa League. So it's all about that. I mean, in the way it's paying down now, because we're actually out the FA Cup. So we play City, you know, in fact, even on this, we've actually gained a benefit because City played obviously this afternoon and we've had an extra 24 hours. So hopefully we'll be a bit stronger than they will be at White Hart Lane on Wednesday. And then we've got another 8 days before we play AZ. So it works in our favour as well, you know.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. This weird kind of season continues. I mean, last season, we started really well and then fell off very badly. This year, we started pretty badly and we're starting to build something. Let's hope that we're seeing a complete reverse of last season, where we finish really strong, 10-game winning run and look fantastic. That would be excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, a number of our players are starting to look like good players and are starting to find form.
Which, considering the turnover we've had, is very, very good to see.
All about getting the rest in and having a squad that you can rotate. I mean, and you know, and it's annoyed me. I've said to you this last week. You know, it's annoyed me how the so-called experts have belittled the club you know, and saying, well, the team that went on was on paper was good enough to beat Leicester, etc. But it wasn't. That wasn't the team. The team were knackered, absolutely knackered, and it's been, you know, and it culminated in those performances against Liverpool in the second leg and against Aston Villa. You just the players that were on there had nothing to give. Yeah. They had nothing to give, and you can see now. Just had a week's break, and he's got some players to rotate a little bit, and you can see. I can see it when I'm watching the game. They're not being perfect performances, but you can see they are just stronger. They are stronger, and that will only get better as the next few weeks come along, in my opinion.
Yeah, fully agreed. So yeah, starting to get to the point where we're having a run-in, and it could be a good end of season, as I said, and always wins things in his second season. I think we will call it a day there. I don't think we'll be doing one for a little while.
You didn't ask me about Man City.
Did I not? Go for it. Go on, Ash.
Well, I only have one thing to say, and you guys are going to laugh. I think the key is Ben Davis.
He played against them at the Etihad, didn't he?
Yeah. He's such a professional. We just need him sort of in and around the squad. You know, can you play here? Can you play there? No, he's just one of those guys that, you know, brings up the level of the professionalism of everybody else. So that's why I love the guy. I
hope he starts with Maddison, because Maddison, I mean, our best performance this season was away at Man City in the Premier League, and Maddison was superb that day. So I hope he plays on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I think with Maddison, you've got to manage his minutes. You've got to make sure he's fit and fresh. I think that's part of the reason why he didn't play the full game yesterday. And I think we'll continue seeing him being brought in and out of the team to manage him and make sure that he is ready to play at the level we want him to. But in terms of this podcast, we're probably not going to be back until the 10th of March. This is probably our last one for 2 weeks, because we don't do midweek podcasts, and we've only got midweek games between now and the Bournemouth game. This is unusual territory for us.
Well, we could have a midweek podcast if you wanted to.
We could do. You want to do one on Thursday after the Man City game?
I'd be happy to do one on Thursday after the City game. Yeah, I think that'd be a good one to do.
Fair enough. I'm up for it. Unless we lose, yeah. In which case, people can just ignore this part of the podcast.
Yes.
All right, guys. We can talk about the build-up for the AZ game coming up next week.
Absolutely, yeah. We can talk about how we're going to bounce back. Indeed.
Yes.
All right, gents. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Once again, Austin, John.
Thank you, Stuart.
Been great having you with us, and I look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon. That will be the 27th of February, everybody. And we'll be talking Tottenham, Manchester City. We'll be talking about that 5-0 win that Tottenham will surely be coming away with. And until then, come on, you Spurs.
This is Marva Cat, by the way.
That's not Honey.
This is Bonnie.
Honey and Bonnie. All right, guys. Have a good one.